Video footage has been released, showing Israel's intensive airstrikes on southern Lebanon on Friday. One person was killed and 11 others were injured in the attacks that the Israeli military said targeted underground bunkers of Hezbollah militant group. The video footage captures strong explosion after Israeli strikes. The Lebanese media reported that an Israeli drone targeted an apartment in the nearby city of Nabatea. Earlier, the Israeli military said that it targeted underground bunkers of militant Hezbollah group in southern Lebanon. The airstrike started at around 8 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, Friday, in an area extending from Israel's former military outposts at Dabshah Hill and Ali al-Taher, with Israeli fighter jets reportedly launching over 20 airstrikes within 15 minutes. The Lebanese Prime Minister, Nawaf Salam, condemned the Israeli attack, saying it represents a blatant violation of national sovereignty and the cessation of hostilities arrangements reached last November, and pose a threat to the stability.
الويل عدينا كلها لاك 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 الويل عدينا كلها ايدها لاك.
Israel's Air Force carried out intense airstrikes Friday in the south of Lebanon in what the Israeli military said targeted underground assets of the militant Hezbollah group. According to Associated Press, state-run national news agency said the airstrikes came in 2 waves on the mountains overlooking Nabatea, adding that bunker busters were used. There was no word on casualties. Since the 14-month Israel-Hezbollah war ended in November, Israel has carried out almost daily airstrikes on southern Lebanon, although Friday's strikes were more intense than usual. The Israeli military said in a statement that its fighter jet struck a site used by Hezbollah to manage its fire and defense array in the area. It added that the site is part of a significant underground project that was completely taken out of use following Friday's strikes. The Israeli army said it has identified rehabilitation attempts made by Hezbollah beforehand and struck infrastructure sites in the area. There was no immediate comment from Hezbollah. Hezbollah has been hard hit and suffered significant losses on the battlefield during the war until a US-brokered ceasefire last November ended the fighting. The Hezbollah-Israel war left over 4,000 people dead in Lebanon and caused destruction worth $11 billions. In Israel, 127 people, including 80 soldiers, were killed during the war. Part of the ceasefire deal, Hezbollah was pushed away from areas bordering Israel in South Lebanon and is not allowed to have armed presence south of the Litani River. Friday's airstrikes were north of the Litani River.
Allahu Akbar كفرت بنات. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar راحت كفرت بنات. يا لطف الله الله أكبر. لك الضرب الثاني. لك يا لطف الله شو ولع. الله أكبر. بعد في واحد. محمد وين عدينا كلها. لك 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 وين عدينا كلها ايدها. لك
The Israeli military released a video on Friday that it claimed to show troops operating in northern Gaza. According to Associated Press, in a second video, the army claims to show a dismantling of a tunnel. The military said in a statement that this tunnel was used by militants in 2014 to kill 4 Israeli soldiers. Gaza health authorities had announced that the number of Palestinians killed in the war has risen above 56,000. Experts say Israel's blockade and military campaign have driven the population to the brink of famine. Israel has been fighting in Gaza since the Hamas-led attack on Israel on October 7, 2023. The initial Hamas attack killed some 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and took 251 others hostage. Some 50 hostages remain in captivity, at least 20 of whom are believed to still be alive. US-led ceasefire efforts have repeatedly stalled.
The strategic partnership agreements between Russia and Iran, the public demonstration of the rapprochement between the two countries, are a fiction that hides the real state of affairs in Russian-Iranian relations, which is far from what the Kremlin spokesman and propagandists portray. In reality, Moscow views Tehran more as an enemy and is not interested in Iran acquiring nuclear weapons. The insider writes about this, citing sources in the Russian special services and documents from the FSB counterintelligence service. The article states that despite the demonstrative strengthening of bilateral relations, the intelligence standoff between the countries does not cease. There is a high level of mistrust between the countries. Counterintelligence documents indicate that Iranian intelligence services continue to operate actively on Russian territory. Tehran's main goals are to gain access to modern weapons and advanced technologies in the fields of aerospace, electronics and nuclear energy, as well as to circumvent Russian restrictions on the acquisition of military and dual-use products. In addition, Iran's attention is focused on establishing influence among the Russian Muslim clergy and spreading Shiite Islam. In these same documents, the Russian side directly points to the need to infiltrate Iranian special services in order to obtain valuable information about the actions of the Islamic Republic in the Russian Federation. In particular, it emphasizes countering potential Iranian information campaigns in the religious environment, which could lead to interfaith conflicts. A source in the FSB military counterintelligence specified that even during the presidency of Dmitry Medvedev, Russia formulated a course according to which Iran is perceived as an enemy rather than an ally. Despite all the public statements about friendship, the Kremlin has never retreated from the principled position that Tehran should not have nuclear weapons. This is probably the reason for Moscow's weak reaction to the Israeli and American strikes on Iranian facilities related to the nuclear program. Although Russia condemned them, its criticism of Israel and the United States was cautious. Earlier, Iran initiated a meeting with Putin after the American strikes. The head of the Iranian Foreign Ministry, Abbas Araghchi, was sent to Moscow. However, no practical steps by the Russian Federation to support Iran following this meeting are currently known.